We were heading out to look at, talk about calves, and we're talking about parasite control and Bruce's work with I was going to say with micros, with dung beetles. But I think you wanted to show me something here, because it's a huge amount to talk about biodiversity, but there's something happening out in this field.
Yeah.
We'll make our way out.
So I suppose...
If Mike can follow us,
yeah.
Mike, you can...
Here's the cap.
The cap trick,
Yeah,
right?
Cap trick. I won't let go, honestly.
That'd be a viral image, wouldn't it? Jesus. Right, Mike, you all right? Okay. Right, so we're talking about biodiversity here then, Bruce. Jesus, it is still wet, isn't it?
Oh, it is still wet, yes.
Yeah.
We'll get up onto a hill. Yeah, so, look, we're a different generation now. Our one is a transition one, and responsibilities on us to make sure that biodiversity is protected.
Okay.
And works within the businesses we have. We can't...
Because you need to be profitable. I mean, it's great, like you can plant and that's a very important...
you can't let emotion get in the way of business either.
Yeah.
You know, because one has to work with the other, or one will fail without the other.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's part of sustainability, is economic sustainability. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a profitable business. And I think, you know what I mean?
It's nearly a badge of shame at the moment.
Well, it seems to, in everything except
making money out of the countryside.
But I mean, it's a real sign of success, profitability. I mean, I think what you're saying about putting, you may be an exception in your leadership, but I think it gives great vision. You know, putting money back into playgrounds, sponsoring, because dairy businesses or farming businesses can be big businesses, but putting that money back into communities is really important. But there's nothing wrong with profitability. So talk to me about then a new generation and profitability and biodiversity. How do they all fit together?
Yeah, well, look, I suppose changing landscape, we know things now that we didn't know maybe 30 years ago. My grandfather bought land here, it was in 8 fields.
Okay.
And got in a D4 and made 1 field.
Yeah.
Out of the whole lot, that's a bulldozer.
That was progress, yeah.
And he was hailed in the community.
I was going to pretend like I knew what that was.
Yeah.
D4, yeah.
You're old enough.
I thought it was someone that lived in the middle of Dublin.
But now if you did that, you would definitely not be hailed in the community for doing it. And rightly so, because my grandfather's thought process then was that there was plenty of room for nature in the countryside.
Yeah,
it wasn't doing any harm. You know, the birds that were in this hedge would go on to some other hedge.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing, you know, there's biodiversity collapse to an extent, but it is definitely lowering. We're definitely seeing less
bird species, wildlife,
yeah, all that. So, you know, we have to be able to integrate that into our farm plan, that we complement biodiversity.
So where are you actually taking me now?
Taking me to see some of these trees.
Okay, so I've passed a few trees that are just kind of standing here on their own.
Yeah. My dad loves these, by the way. He does.
He's very confused, is he?
Oh, he hates them. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you've
this is one he didn't knock with the tractor.
Right.
Yeah. So if you look here, we're in a line this way.
Okay.
So this line here is exactly the half way point of the field.
Okay.
So and they're 30 meters apart.
Okay.
So it negates GPS on a tractor.
Okay.
So you just hop in and you drive from one to the other with your fertilizer spreader.
Okay, so it's not going to affect your tractor.
It's not going to affect
the tractor. So
there's
a lot of talk gone into this.
There is, yeah.
It's the engineering brain again.
We don't need a GPS on the tractor to spread fertilizer.
Okay.
Or to mow fields. That's an oak tree.
Okay.
And
so these you don't need GPS because of the layout of this.
Yes.
You're using sort of a navigation system with the trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these spikes then protect the tree. I trialled them out last year. Have a full year down now, and not one of them has been touched, with 300 cows wandering around them.
Okay.
So they leave the trees alone. Now I'll never see that tree mature, but someone will. Yeah.
Okay. And is that sort of foresight and vision that is what we kind of need to be thinking about?
Yeah, well, sure, look, isn't it a Japanese saying that true society is where men plant trees that they'll never sit under the shade of. So
I like it. Love a bit of Japanese philosophy. Give us that one again, Bruce. There's a little snippet for the.
Society,
There's a little snippet for the. So what the fuck are these
do I
guys
look at the
talking
camera
about?
when I'm saying it now?
No, but it's a really good point. Yeah, because it's that because we live in a society, and we're all guilty of it, of living for the here and now, where we're chasing the high now, the quick gratification,
Yeah.
with no long-term thinking. That is sustainability. Give it to me one more time, there. I like that.
True society is where men plant trees they'll never sit under the shade of. So, you know, when you think about it, when you think about our ancestors and like even the likes of my dad and my grandfather, if I look back on their career and what their achievements were, it wasn't getting, you know, a 90% submission rate for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 500, 500. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. Yeah, you know, you're not going to be. There's a dog looking for a bit of attention.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be, you know, what they've done to the landscape.
Yeah.
Really, it's the physical stuff you're going to see.
Okay.
That's going to stick in your mind.
And this is just part of. Where did you see this? Where did you learn this kind of stuff? Where did you come
picked
across?
these up in the UK. I brought them in from the UK.
Okay. So you saw this been done on another farm in the UK.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, and look, it means I can plant a tree anywhere on the farm
Okay.
and not worry about it.
Okay. And that's something you've actively started doing. So from an incentive perspective, this is, you know, again, profitability. You have a big team, you have family, you have mortgages, you have everything. Investments like this, how well supported are they from a... No, they're not.
No, it's all self.
So it's a self-build. It's a Bruce Thompson. Sleep better at night. You know.
Yeah.
You know, it's the vision piece there. Is it something? Is tree planting, or you know, is there enough incentives in farming? Are we smart enough about our incentives? Is that a good question? No. Are we smart enough about our incentives at the moment in farming? Do we need to be better? Is that what we should be doing, or is the allocation of funds? We're going this way here.
The allocation of funds is wrong. Like it, you know, it's all stacked like in favour of pillar one.
Okay, so explain. Yeah, so
I'm not going to explain that yet. Let's do that bit. But like, you know, it's all historic-based payments.
okay.
Not all, but the majority of it is.
Because you're
But like, you know, I'm going back. When I started farming, we had just gotten 3 reference years.
Yeah, okay. We better
Them
slow
and
down. Our
dads.
mic's going to definitely trip here. Right, is that?
Yeah, we got 3 reference years.
Okay.
And that has dictated what the landscape, the payments for the landscape that were being received now, has come from, which is completely wrong, in my view.
Okay.
We need to push more into results-based.
Okay.
So you know, it's public money.
Yeah.
We have to remember that. It's
Okay.
not, we call them entitlements, which really really icks me when we call them entitlements.
Okay.
Because we're not entitled to them.
Okay.
Why should we be?
Okay.
We should be
Well,
getting something back.
the argument is that you are providing cheap,
Yeah, we are.
safe food
Yeah.
for an economy, for a society, which is, to me, we said it in one of the other videos, that it's kind of it's the basis for
Yeah.
for law and order and
Yeah.
for society's function.
That's one product we're supplying. The other one is nature.
Okay.
And habitat. Nature and habitat is the other product.
And farming and nature and habitat can coexist.
They can, of course, yeah. But
And profitability.
Yeah, profitability. But you have to. I'm adamant. You have to monetize that capital, natural capital.
So
'Cause if you don't,
explain to me that.
well,
Monetising natural capital.
We're in a capitalist economy.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Myself and
which is the least worst social economic system.
yeah. It has its flaws.
It
But
has its flaws, but it's the least worst one.
Okay.
So, you know, for anything to work in a capitalist, it has to be monetized.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're going to have to, if you want to protect nature, we have to monetize it.
Okay.
So we should be putting a value onto any of these items. So they don't have to be farmers, landowners. Any landowner that has a certain percentage of nature should be definitely paid for.
But is it hard to put? Is it hard to put a value on biodiversity?
It is, because it's so immeasurable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a planting of a tree seems like a measurable
tree there,
metric. Yeah.
Let's say tree. Yeah.
So you plant
that's simple.
500 trees on the farm.
Yeah.
In a system, we're not going to lose much ground. What difference is it going to make to biodiversity? That much, is it like? Again, maybe it's out of naivety. I'm asking you this. I like it, But is it enough?
It's not. Not on its own, that isn't.
No.
Like you have to, there's a whole, like there's a hedgerow, we haven't touched that. That used to be a lovely box hedge.
Okay.
I say lovely because that's
'Cause
what we
it
used
was-
to
it was
think
clean.
lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Square. But now it's left to grow. We just touch the sides of it every couple of years, every few years with the hedge cutter just to keep it touched back.
Is that a kind of a generational thing we have to accept as well? That you know, and if I go back even from where I'm from in Kerry 30 years ago, the leading farmers, the farms were
pruned.
pruned
Perfect.
and perfect,
Yeah.
and that was an acceptable status quo at the time.
Yeah.
So then you have to change your mindset around
yeah.
the whole way a farm is laid out, and it's actually letting nature take a little bit of control back of your farm.
Yeah. It is a change in mindset. It is difficult, but you know, we know now that the importance of letting that get to that state.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, you go back 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was a bad farmer.
Yeah, it was a messy.
It was messy. Yeah.
Shouldn't have got the farm.
Shouldn't have got the farm, yeah. His older brother deserved it. But, you know, that's the way, you know, we have to change our mindset on it.
So we're going to talk about parasites and dung beetles, yeah, and you've led in that space. So you're actively involved with discussion groups, and you know, I think there's a couple of ways of making change. One of it comes from the ground up, which is incredibly powerful. One is through legislation, where people have
dreadful,
which you have to change. Do you feel, you know, being part of discussion groups and meeting other dairy farmers, because granted me to be talking about this kind of stuff, is the penny dropping? Is there realisation? Is there a change occurring?
Yeah, it is. But you know, it takes a while for these things to get momentum. But definitely, even within discussion groups now, the talk is there about tree planting, and it's there about hedgerow management, and it's there about biodiversity, pond making. You know, whereas if you go onto social media 7 or 8 years ago, farmers were comparing co-op performance reports. Now they're comparing who's the biggest pond. So
I was going to say that.
Yeah. Easy now.